let's talk about the UK riots. This video got uploaded by Andrew Callaghan, Channel 5, yesterday afternoon. Let me ask you this before we play this. Do you guys think that Andrew Callaghan kind of has a little bit of a slant? Do you think Andrew Callaghan here has a little bit of an agenda with some of the videos he makes? You think so? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, I think he does. Here we go.
Look here. 3 girls were killed by that kid in Southport.
It's an act of violence that shattered the peace of the summer holidays in a seaside town.
3 girls were killed.
BB King, Elsie Stankham and Elise Aguirre.
However, 186,000 Palestinians have been killed. Most of them are children. Do you...
Why is that British people's fault? Why is that some British person's fault who lives in a small town in the goddamn British countryside? Why do they need to care about that? They care about their own girls, not your girls halfway across the world in the fucking desert. If you care about them, you can go back and help them out. You're not there, are you? You're in the UK. There you are.
You see us burning every synagogue that supports the Israeli regime.
Another fire, another night of chaos.
Anti-immigration rioters attack a hotel in Rotherham.
Do you see us holding innocent people responsible?
Crowds clashing with police outside a hotel where immigrants are being housed.
Yeah, you don't. We're coming in peace. And imagine our anger. Imagine how we feel every day in Chechnya, in Syria, Iraq, Palestine, Kashmir, Mali, Libya, everywhere. We see our children killed. We don't behave in a manner that you see these hooligans behaving in because they don't care for their girls. They're here for violence and they're here because they hate us.
Yeah.
A black Christian man born in Wales killed them girls.
Axel Rudakabana is...
Why they're why are they showing the photo of this stabber from when he was like 8 years old? He was a 17-year-old. He was a 17-year-old young man that stabbed these girls, that killed them all.
17, British.
Like why are they trying to make this stabber look cute?
Born in Wales and of Rwandan heritage.
But who they're directing their anger at? They're directing it at Muslims only. Why? Because their agenda is anti-Islam, straight up. This is our fault.
I don't think their agenda is necessarily anti-Islam. I think their agenda is anti... Like, I'm going to be honest, okay? I'm just going to cut the shit. It seems to me like the agenda of these rioters or these protesters, they are sick of brown immigrants coming in the country. That seems to be what it is. And this is not my sentiment. I'm saying for better or for worse, right or wrong, this seems to be what they are mad about. They are saying there are too many brown immigrants coming to the country. Doesn't matter if your birth certificate says you were born here or if you're a citizen or what religious beliefs you have. These people, they want, these rioters, these protesters, they want their small Anglo-Saxon country town in the UK countryside to remain as it is and to remain as it always has been. That seems to be what they want. And yeah, so if you're like, oh, well, that's racist. Yeah, I think they are being racist. Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is totally racially charged. I think this is completely racially charged. I think so. Am I going to play games again? Not really. I'm not really focused on that right now.
Muslims only. Why? Because their agenda is anti-Islam, straight up. This is our fucking country, not fucking theirs.
There you go.
I'm here to save the kids. The children have been murdered. There's been a massacre on the street.
They got the targeting little white girls all over the country. Let's call a spade a fucking spade.
It's like Russian roulette at this point. Which one's going to be next? No one questioned why BLM were out. No one questions why Palestine are out. We're saving the kids. We're stopping the boats. We're closing the borders. Look how mad we've all gone.
See that? She didn't say anything about Muslims. She didn't say anything about Islam. She said, we're stopping the immigrants. We're stopping the boats. We don't want you anymore. That's what she's saying.
This is real women. This is lionesses. This is the lion roaring. I'm not racist and I don't give a fuck what you say.
Then who the fuck is... Who's trying to kill our kids?
Policies that politicians put in place, yeah?
Stop the boats! Stop the boats! Stop the boats! Stop the boats!
They're calling us far right. We're not far right. We're all fathers and parents of children. These immigrants are coming in without paperwork. We're lying about their ages. We don't know nothing about the backgrounds, and that's what it's about.
We don't want to be branded far right. You know, we're here for the right reasons. I want my kids to know I didn't stay silent.
They're still kind of doing this thing. Like, this is what they kind of need to say, okay? What they need to be saying is, if caring about my country, if caring about my culture, if caring about our children makes us far right, makes us this, makes us that, then so be it. Call me whatever you want. I'll be whatever you want me to be, but I'll tell you, this is what I believe in. I believe in my society, my culture, my nation, my people, whatever, okay? I think that's the line.
They don't want to be branded far right. You know, we're here for the right reasons. I want my kids to know I didn't stay silent. Leave our kids alone.
It's about children that have lost their lives in this city, and we're passionate about that up here.
We're not racist. We've got Muslim friends. Our country has benefited from migration. However, it's just getting overwhelming. We're a very small island. It's become a security risk.
Religion means fuck all, lads. I'm not arsed. This is about people coming in. They could be Christians from Somalia, wherever, and the fucking wrong-uns. That's what it is. We're letting wrong-uns in. This is not...
This guy says they could be Christians from Somalia, and we still don't want them. Okay, well then why? What's the difference?
religious. That's bollocks. Fucking bollocks. This is about the wrong-uns they're letting in. You can be a Christian, you can be whatever. You're coming in, you've got no intention of fucking helping the country. You're here to cause trouble. You're here to take and thieve and steal. You're here to stay for none. So, unfortunately, that's a no-no.
There's 50,000 people here on an MI6 list, isn't there? Start with them, get rid of them, get rid of the people who are killing kids, raping kids, get rid of them.
Stop the boats, kick them out. There's too many of you here. You don't respect our country, you don't respect our religion. All you think about is Aisha, because she was 9 years old. That's what you're all into. Paedophilia.
Listen, there's a message for George Soros, yeah? Britain will never fall. We don't care how many globalists, yeah? George Soros, yeah? You globalist scumbags, yeah? Import as many of them as you want, yeah? Guess what? Christ will prevail, yeah?
This world is so corrupt. Labour's supposed to love the North West, supposed to be for the working class. They've stabbed the real people who has got real concerns. They've stabbed a lot of us in the back. And we're supposed to stand here and let everybody call us right-wing and Nazis. I've got Asians in my family. I ain't racist one bit. What I am is scared of this government.
We've now got two-tier Kia coming on the news and having the audacity to call the general public far-right.
I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we've seen this weekend.
I've seen all this coming. No one wanted it. We've tried to warn about it, and I'm still going to try and warn about it. I don't want to fight anybody. We don't want wars with Muslims. I don't think it's a good idea attacking mosques at all. I'm not a conservative either. I'm not an anarchist. I want a decent party that cares about the people. That's all we want. Every person, doesn't matter where you're from.
OK, so if Tories weren't the answer, Labour wasn't the answer, who is?
I'm not a politician and I'm thick as pig shit, but I can talk to people. I've never been to school, I can only write my own name, but I've got an heart as big as a lion, and I'll stand there against anybody for the sake of our country. People need to wake up against Labour. These are the rats. We're not racist, we're scared.
Everybody out there is not acting and is not on this street now. Get out there and act. Don't call yourself a man unless you're out here. Don't call yourself a man. Simple as that. You don't fight for your country. You don't push back the invaders. You're not a man.
If we don't fight now, it's going to come to our kids having to fight, and they're not going to win it. They're not going to win the fight.
This is what I think, okay? I think a lot of these people are having racially charged feelings, but they haven't come to terms with it. I think they still have a hang up with that word. They don't want to be that word. They don't want to be called that word. They don't want to be that word. But it does seem to be the case undeniably. These feelings they are having seems clear to me that this is a very racially charged situation, because they're saying it doesn't matter if you're Christian from Somalia. Christianity is a universal religion. Christianity doesn't make any mention of race. Any brown, black, white can be a Christian. Christian doctrine, Christian theology does not say anything different for any different race. Okay, it's a universalist religion. And so I think the problem here, the underlying issue is that they are having some racial grievances. That seems to be the case. And so if you go on the media, you watch mainstream news or whatever, and people are saying, these rioters, these protesters are racist, I think you're probably right. I think that race in this case is much more pertinent than anyone on any side of this equation is willing to admit, and I think it is a big factor here.
Right, so I don't want the violence. We've got to try and do it peacefully, but this has to be the final straw where there's a clear message sent to those in charge that you either step up or you step aside now.
I was in Southport on Tuesday.
Police tried to keep apart a
group of far-right protesters and a much larger anti-fascist counter-protest.
Let me see here. It's not a race problem, it's an economic inequality problem. Okay, so what you're saying is, this is one of these takes you hear. The only explanation for different behavior amongst racial groups, it's the only reason why that would ever happen, different behavioral patterns amongst different racial groups, is a consequence of socioeconomic issues. You're free to think that, most certainly. That's a common enough take. A lot of people think that.
The media absolutely corrupt. They lied. There wasn't a single member of the EDL there. There weren't a member of the far right there. There was little girls, older women. There was older men. There was young men, middle-aged men, outraged at what the government's allowing to happen to us. What the government's allowing this cancer to do to us. This cancer that's grown within our nation. We need to stop it.
My children were abused by social services, and Merseyside police have covered it up. They've got a hidden grooming gang that won't be released to the public. Defund the BBC, the media are the lies, the media is the virus.
Much like at protests in the United States, a line of riot police who sustained minor injuries throughout the course of the day had formed a sort of demilitarized zone between nationalist Stop the Boats protesters and an equally sized counter-protest of mostly left-leaning Liverpool locals who showed up in person to confront a mob of who they believed to be far-right racist protesters.
They're all inbred. Yeah. They need a dentist. They're not interested in like children that were killed in Southport. They just want to cause a fight. We're a multicultural city, a city of sanctuary, and I hope they get lost.
What do
you think the solution is?
Thank you.
Throw them all into the sea. That's what the chant says. Solution is, well, to get rid of capitalism and have a social society, and then these people would be catered for, not blaming it on fucking immigrants and...
This guy's solution is absolve capitalistic, pursuit, no more capitalism in the country, have the government take care of everyone, and then there would be no socioeconomic problems because everybody would be taken care of equally so by the government. Excellent. Excellent solution, Mr. Fat Retard.
Refugees and what have you. They've obviously got issues because they've been let down, no dentists, no doctors, no housing. Right, but that's not immigrants or refugees' fault. That's the fault of this fucking government.
Despite this frontline tension, it appeared that the vast majority of counter-protesters weren't actually interested in having a direct confrontation with English nationalists, and instead had organized their own rally at nearby St. George's Hall in support of migrants and refugees.
Refugees are welcome here. Oh, someone just got married. Oh. See, this is Liverpool, and the far right is trying to threaten that.
A quick explanation, what happened in Southport?
Obviously, I mean, there was a horrible attack in which 3 children lost their lives. What happened since then was a massive lie about the identity of that attacker, which was,
What's the tonal inflection? Can I rewind? I want you to listen to the way that she says this. Listen to the way that she says this.
Just got married. Oh. See, this is Liverpool, and the far right is trying to threaten that.
A quick explanation, what happened in Southport?
Obviously, I mean, there was a horrible attack in which 3 children lost their lives. What happened since then was a massive lie.
She plays it, it's sort of like a downplay. It's like a but, she's downplaying this. She's de-escalating this.
About the identity of that attacker, which was, led by the likes of Tommy Robinson.
After murdering and raping and pillaging 1,400 Jews, look how confident they've become across the entire West.
So Tommy Robinson is a Jew. In fact, Tommy Robinson is actually a Jewish Zionist. So I guess it makes sense why in this case he's talking about Jewish people. Because that's sort of like his group.
Come across the entire West.
Of Lauren Sparks, of other far-right people online.
So an undocumented migrant decided to go into a Taylor Swift dance class today and stab 6 little girls.
Also the likes of Nigel Farage is complicit.
We will only stop this if we start deporting people that come illegally.
This led people in Southport, racists and far-right people to feel emboldened to come out on the street and to attack a mosque that had no connection to the identity of the attacker. I think it's also important to say that even if the attacker was a Muslim or a migrant or the things that they were lying about, it still does not license the far right attacks on communities we've seen around Britain. So people around the country today are actually protesting. I think, you know, people here feel a part of something bigger. In Manchester, they got pushed back this morning. In Liverpool, we pushed them back outside the mosque last night. People who are here today are proud to stand in a multicultural Britain, and, you know, the far right's trying to threaten that.
I don't think there is anything special about what's happening in the UK. I think it's a reflection of what's happening internationally, in that you've got a crisis of capitalism, living standards for, you know, in society going downhill, just a general crisis of the system. Far-right groups, obviously what they do is they latch on to the deep anger that exists. They build in the most impoverished areas of the country, and they basically try and divert that anger away from class struggle against the bosses and against, well, first the Tories and now Labour. And they rile a lot of very young people up, young men up, with very toxic ideas, and they send them out to go and attack.
Okay, so listen, in the last 20 years in the UK, rape has increased by over 400%. There's a nice knife stabbing every couple months. These girls just got butchered. This is not the first instance of knife stabbing. You are not going to tell me that socioeconomic issues are compelling migrants to rape people or stab little girls. Being poor doesn't compel you to do that. Okay? Being poor might compel you to rob a grocery store so you have food to feed your family, for instance, but going into a kindergarten or a preschool or a daycare and butchering a bunch of girls or raping women as they walk home from the subway late at night, over 400% increase in rape. Sweden, a specific area of Sweden, is the rape capital of the world for very similar reasons. Sweden, okay? And by the way, these are countries that have pretty generous welfare apparatuses set up, okay? It's not like any immigrant coming to these countries, Sweden, Germany, the UK, they're not homeless. They're not starving, okay? In fact, they're better off in these countries under these welfare programs than they were back in their country of origin, okay? So it's not like they are, you know, fucking impoverished. They're pretty well taken care of.
Migrant communities, you know, that's a real threat we have to take seriously. And if the left doesn't have a convincing alternative that's based around mass struggle, that's based around fighting back in that kind of way, the far right seeps in. You've seen it in France. I think the end game of these far right groups is obviously to just create a society where there's mass expulsions of migrant workers. I mean, we need to tell.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think they want to get rid of them.
Those people, the alternative march, we need to get truth through to them, and that's important. You know, it's all right, Steve. We're suffering the rages of capitalism. We're suffering the rages of, well, you know, if Tony Blair didn't go and cause a fucking war in Iraq, or at least support that fucking war, if we...
Dude, like, I didn't realize that when Britain helped defeat the Nazis in 1945, that communists would seize the country. I didn't realize that part of the Nazi loss in 1945 meant that communists were going to take over the UK and probably also America here. I wasn't aware that that had happened, okay? This on-the-ground footage here has really opened my eyes. All of these people are like literal communists. And I'm not saying communist hyperbolically, like they are actual literal communists. I didn't realize that the commies had won. Damn.
We weren't selling bombs to everyone across the planet. Those people wouldn't be being bombed out their homes and having their land just stolen from them because of oil, because of agriculture, because of water and everything else. They'd be happily sitting in their homes, most of them, and they wouldn't be running to anywhere they can possibly get to save their children being blown to fucking smithereens. That's why, and I don't get it why people don't get that. If you have a problem with immigration, I'd have respect for you if you went out on marches and told the government enough is fucking enough. No more bombing or creating wars in other places. And if we are this powerful...
That's what I say. Hey, that's what I say. Get out of the Middle East, divest from Israel, and deport all of these fucking people. Yeah, yo, okay. So as far as he's concerned, my critiques are valid. Okay, cool.
Powerful country, and you are genuinely these powerful politicians take on these other fuckers across the planet and negotiate with them and create peace. It's not going to be easy, but you can at least fucking try.
We need to tackle all these problems. We need to transform society to a socialist one and create like a society where wealth is shared more equally amongst the people that create it.
Who are you to say we should share wealth? You don't even share food. Look how fat you are. What do you mean we should share wealth? You probably steal everybody else's food.
Which is the majority of the working class people, you know?
What are you talking about?
The capitalists who own everything. They pit us all against each other along the lines of like race, being LGBT, men and women, you know what I mean? Like we're all divided. So we're coming together, but more importantly, a sharing of like all of the wealth in the world will kind of do away with that sort of racism and...
Like, listen, okay, maybe... if you're preaching communistic ideology or communistic philosophy, maybe I would be like, okay, you're true to your convictions. If you're living like a fucking apostle, if you're giving away all your belongings, you're doing charitable service all day, you're thin, you're not gluttonous, maybe it's like, you know what, this person is actually living their life in accordance with their ideals. But all the time you have people preaching communism, they're fat, they're rich, they live in Beverly Hills mansions, they have multiple sports cars, and it's these people that are telling me that I need to redistribute my wealth to people that don't work. Okay? So, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know about that.
It's not an easy task, but yeah, that's why we're here. Like, yeah, people are obviously angry and they're all out together, so
hey,
we want to like reach those
Thank
people.
you very much. Thank you.
You know, it's a hard battle.
You know, I know
Thank you
it's kind
very
of
much.
like big task, and I know it's not easy, but I think like, you know, like when we fight together we can achieve like real change. Yeah,
cool. You know, we need to build a new party that'll like fight to defend the interests of working class people.
Lol, why go off on a fat lady? Jeez, dude. Yeah, I hate fat people. Like, I don't know if you guys are new to the stream or what. I make it a point to publicly shame and shit on fat people every single day. I don't like them. If you're fat, you need to stop. You need to stop being so fucking fat. I don't like fatties. This stream is a no fatty zone. If you're fat, you will be ridiculed. You will be bullied. No fatties, okay? You got to get a grip on that.
You know, the fact that our NHS is in such a bad state, rather than blaming that on migrants, let's enter into struggle to fight back against the private companies that are making huge profits. You know, I think the real answer is class struggle, you know, uniting as a working class to fight for all of our interests. Whether you're a migrant worker, British born, you know, it's about building that working class solidarity.
I believe in living in a kingdom that's good and true.
Oh my God.
Shortly after the Stop the Boats protest and counter-protest both dispersed, threats were reported to have been made online by members of the right-wing English Defence League targeting a nearby mosque, prompting a standing army of Arab teenagers to...
Here we go. Here we go. Remember that scene from South Park? Race war! Okay.
Assemble with the purpose of standing on business in the event of catastrophe. Well, not all teenagers, but mostly teenagers. In front of the mosque is where guest reporter Sanjay spoke to those youths at the beginning of the video. But there were also many other older community members who showed up to express support and solidarity.
We cannot translate racism in this country. We are totally against EDL in their principles, in their foundations. They don't want any Muslims to be in this country. This country needs us. There's no what these people do here, brother. The police intimidate.
Relax.
It makes me feel angry. I get frustrated. But because I am Muslim, I have to be calm about this. You know, I have to be calm.
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir. Yeah, man, the soldiers, the lions of Allah are all out today.
Bring the EDL.
We've come to stand up against these EDL fascists that have come to our town and that are telling us that how their town's meant to be run when most of them are junkies, smackheads, crackheads, and they're not contributing to this community or this society.
Okay, I'm going to make a prediction, okay? If this situation continues to go the way that it's been going, you will have actual fascism. Not left-wing, you're a fascist. No, you will have actual legitimate fascism if nothing changes. That's the way this is going. And I'm not saying that I hope that's what happens. I'm not saying that this is what I want. I'm calling a spade a spade. You will have actual fascism if nothing changes here.
How are the
will
government
happen.
letting people like this come here and cause a disturbance? We've got to stand up to them. We've got to show them that we're not scared of them. We ain't backing down from no one.
It's fucking the low scum.
And then you've got officers like this here swearing at us, calling us fucking fannies and this and that, where he thinks he's bad with a bat in his hand. Put everything down, man to man. Arrest me after that, no problem.
Our minorities are looking after the country, and this is how we get treated. We don't deserve to get treated like fucking shit. Yo, we're fucking equal to everyone over here.
Why do you think race matters to them?
I don't know. They've got nothing better to do. They've no logic.
They're brainwashed. That's what it is. They're brainwashed. They don't know what's going on. They've got one leader called Tommy Robinson that they all go off.
While all these idiots have been rioting, they don't know Tommy Robinson has fled the country. So you're all out for the cause here. And
meanwhile, Tommy Robinson is in Tel Aviv hanging out. That's actually true.
The leader isn't even...
Tommy Robinson is literally in Israel telling these young Anglo-Saxons that they need to protest and riot. He just flew over to Israel. Okay.
In the country. He can't live in his own country that he loves so much.
So is violence the answer?
Violence isn't the answer. Love's the answer.
Violence is not the answer. But our religion tells us to stand up against kuffars that are not merciful, that are zalims, that are kuffars. And that's why we've come here together, to stand together.
There's people like Jews that stand with us. There's Christianities that stand with us. There's Hindus that stand with us. Pan the camera, you can see thousands of us are here. We are protecting the mosques that happen in Stoke, in Sunderland, in Liverpool, in many other towns. But we're standing.
Hold up. So what did that guy call us? He or them? What did that guy call these white protesters? Them? What did he call them? He called them kafir, an Arabic term in Islam which refers to a person who disbelieves in God. In Islam, denies his authority. Okay, so kafir is often translated as infidel, pagan, rejecter, disbeliever, denier, unbeliever, non-Muslim. I'm a kafir. Okay, give me a 1 if you're a kafir. I'm a kafir. Give me a 1. Where are my kafirs at? I am a kafir. Me and my boys, we are fucking kafirs. I am a kafir. Let's go.
Standing as one because we want what's right. We want peace. We are fighting for what's right.
Stay united. Come together, protect your mosque, protect your families. If they are coming down to hunt you, to kill you, to trouble you, please do a self-defense. Defend yourself and defend your ideology and restrict them in your cities, in your towns. If you don't do that one, they will come to your house and they will chase you.
Channel 5 live worldwide, Hollywood and Vine.
Fuck the authority, Channel 5 News.
No, listen, hey. Okay, I'm over here in America. I'm watching all this stuff unfold. If nothing changes, you're going to have Hitler 2.0, but he's going to have a British accent this time. Okay, rather than saying, mein Volk, he's going to say, come on, bruvs, isn't it? That's what he's going to be saying, okay? Seriously, that's going to happen. It's not Hitler, it's Britler. You're going to have Britler, okay? Not Hitler. You're going to have Britler is what he's going to be, and it's going to be real fucking crazy. It's going to be wild.